Hello everyone, this is our Culinary Connections project where we all ate dinner together 4 times this semester. My name's Haley.
I'm Anthony.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Josh.
So I will be talking about the dish Josh cooked for us. He made us hamburgers and fruit salad. This was a meal he ate a lot. I don't know what camera I'm on. This was a meal he ate a lot growing up at home, and his mom made fruit salad for every get-together that they had, so it was very special to him. So the history of burgers is debated, but it generally is believed that they came from immigrants from Germany, specifically Hamburg, where the name hamburger comes from. They had hamburger steaks and brought them over to America, which is basically just the hamburger patty without the bun. But then Americans were putting hot dogs in buns, so they were like, hey, let's put hamburgers in buns, and then that is where the American hamburger was born. In the early 1900s, Americans lost faith in the meatpacking industry because Upton Sinclair wrote the novel The Jungle, which is about the scary and nasty things that happen in the meatpacking industry. But eventually, people gained faith again with the rise of hamburger restaurants like McDonald's, White Castle, that sort of thing. And then fruit salad doesn't really have like a big history. Pretty much every culture has had a iteration of some sort of berry mixed with either other berries or something else. But in America, in the 1950s in the Midwest, it was very popular to mix berries with Jell-O, which is kind of gross, but I mean, to each their own. So what it means to share food, we have this video from when the burgers were cooked. Even with a simple meal like this, it still has a strong cultural and personal meaning to someone. And we all learned a lot about each other, especially since this was our first meal. And then you can quickly learn a lot about someone and background based on what they say about like what a meal means to them or like a special meal from home.
So I talked about Haley's dish. Haley made delicious homemade pizzas from the Chef Boyardee pizza maker kit. She said that pizzas were always a go-to for comfort meal for her and her family. Making pizza was always fun to do together and is why it hits home for her. Pizza and food culture and traditions. Pizza is a big deal around the world and is originally seen as a humbling dish for working class in Italy. It can be seen as a comfort food and a symbol of togetherness since pizza can be shared easily amongst friends and family. It's a very popular dish in Italy and mainly eaten on the weekends with family. Personal impact of cooking and sharing meals. Getting to learn about and enjoying Haley's pizza made me feel a part of her tradition and made me feel closer to my group as we shared pizza together. I realized why people bring pizza to events and share it with families often, since it brings people closer and allows moments of storytelling and memory sharing to come to life. Making pizza is also a fun time and enjoyable for all. Food and the relationship building in society. Pizza is more than just a food, it's a culinary bridge between many different borders and cultures across the world. It serves as a canvas for people to express cultural tastes and backgrounds for many people to try. Overall, I believe food helps break down barriers and build lasting relationships and memories.
So I'm Sam, and I'm going to talk about Anthony's dish for a little bit. This is Anthony on the right here. He prepared a traditional Italian meal featuring a homemade potato pasta called gnocchi. Gnocchi. I should know that. I'm Italian as well. And he also made his grandmother's passed down sauce recipe, which was really good. And then he also made a fresh baked Italian bread. So a little bit about the Italian food culture. Italian cuisine, especially pasta and bread, is deeply rooted in history and family traditions. Gnocchi is means little knuckles, and it dates back to Roman times, highlighting the long-standing culinary legacy. Anthony shared his grandmother's homemade sauce story, showing how recipes are passed down through generations. And food is a powerful symbol of love, history, and family connection in Italian culture. So the personal impact of cooking and sharing meals. Cooking and sharing Anthony's gnocchi and bread strengthened the connection between us. I felt like I was a part of a tradition. And then the food and relationship building in society. Food builds trust, community, and understanding across different backgrounds. Sharing meals can break down barriers and remind people of common roots.
So I'm Josh, and I'm going to be talking about Sam's dish. So Sam prepared steak with rice, steamed broccoli, and it's usually a meal he shares with his teammates on Sunday after their baseball game. So a little bit about the history of steak. So its origins date back to prehistoric times where humans began cooking meat over fire, so thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And that's really evolved through ancient and medieval times into more refined cuts of meat that you know of, like sirloin, T-bone, and others. The term steak comes from Scandinavian roots, and it gained popularity in Europe and the United States, especially during the 19th century with the rises of ranching and steakhouses. There are over 42,000 steakhouses in the United States, and that number continues to grow year over year. So we can't forget dessert. So we also made toasted sourdough bread with honey on top. While neither sourdough or honey are new to society, the idea of putting the two together is relatively new. And for me, I think it was a very simple and perfect dessert because it's natural sweetness that isn't overpowering and doesn't have the artificial sugars. So what eating together meant to us. Overall, I think it was a wonderful experience, even though I think at first we can all say we were a little skeptical about it. But even from our very first dinner, it wasn't awkward at all. We all got together and cooked a great meal and just talked about future plans after college and other random topics, and sometimes that even went to being food in Farmville, which we could talk about all day.